Hi there. Welcome to the Raven's Call. I'm Eric Wordweaver Sjerven, Goldie of the Ridgar folk, and I'd like to welcome you to the show. On this channel, I like to ramble on about different heathen-related subjects, just kind of whatever strikes my fancy, sets my mind on fire at the time. If you like what you see, if you enjoy these videos, please hit subscribe down below, ding the bell. The more you interact with my videos, the more you're going to see pop up on your feed similar to those, the more heathen-related things you'll see. And there's a lot of good heathen content providers out there. They're doing some great work. Highly recommend a lot of them. So get out there, check it out, see what you see. Judge for yourself. Some of them are definitely worth checking out. Some of them are still a bit newbie themselves and trying to figure it out as they go along, which is a cool thing. Do not discredit people that are going through and sharing their journey. Because sometimes you can learn a little something from somebody who's in the moment learning it, you know? When you look at something and they're just not quite getting it, but all of a sudden you get it and you're like hollering at the screen, oh, it's this, you don't see it. You've grown a little bit, so there's that. There's some value to that. So you'll find all my contact information down below, email, Facebook, Saraha, my Twitter, which I'm horrible at Twitter, as we all know by now. I hardly use it, but it's a thing. And please interact with me down there. I get a lot of my show ideas through those interactions. So requests, ideas, your own experiences, things like that. I like to do a lot of networking on the Facebook group because that's just easy to do and that's kind of what it's built for. So check that out. Join Word-Weaver Productions on Facebook. It's Word-Weaver Productions. And jump on in there. I bring everybody in. So whoever applies, you're going to get in automatically. Come in, see what's going on, check it out, join in the conversation. I post all the videos and everything up on there. Sometimes I'll poll people with questions about what's going on, what their insights are on something, get show ideas, recommendations, things like that. So please jump on in there, join the conversation, okay? So let's jump on into today's subject. Now previously, in a previous video, I did a kind of an introduction on the nature of the Havamal, my kind of views on that. You can go back and watch that to get the fullness of it and watch me ramble on and trip over myself for about a half hour on what it is, what the Havamal is, and how I view it and why I view it the way I do. We're not going to go and rehash all of that. We're going to simply say for this particular video that, yes, I recognize the Havamal is not a heathen Bible. It is not a set of strictures by which we must abide in order to be heathen. It's simply a poem that has some good wisdom in there by people that I think were probably inspired by the gods, but it's not written by the gods. I'll talk to you guys a little bit about that format. So I'm going to shoot this first one we're going to do in this kind of format. You're going to see here in a little bit. I'm going to cut from this and we're going to go over to the actual stanzas. I'm going to pop those up on the screen and kind of do a voiceover on that, discussing. I'm going to read the stanza themselves and then I'm going to shoot through and kind of talk about how those things pertain to the subject matter of the day. And today's subject matter is going to be friendliness or friends. There's a lot of quotes within the Havamal that pertain to friends. Why it's important to have friends, why it's important to build this social structure around you, and how to maintain those things, and kind of some stuff to watch out for in relation to that. You're going to find some heavy themes going through here, and we'll talk about those as we hit it. One of the things that is, I think, extremely important in this is to keep in mind, like I said in my previous video, context and cultural differences are extremely important when you're talking about the Havamal because it doesn't all translate to modern sensibilities. And so when we're talking about friends in this case, when we're talking about friendliness, we're talking about someone who is a dear friend, someone who is close to you, someone whom you let in towards your innengarth. These are going to be those people that matter to you, the people that you go to with advice, that you unburden your soul to. And it's not necessarily just acquaintances and things like that. There is some of that in there, but I mean, when they talk about friends, they mean friends, not just, hey, I got this friend at work that does this, this, and this, and this. I mean, there's an element to that, as you'll see, guarding yourself against people you don't need to associate with, people that you're going to be sharing weird with, etc., etc., etc. And so, you'll see a little bit of both in there, but a vast majority of it's talking about dear friends, important people close to you and part of your world and your innengarth as a whole. So we're going to see where this goes. We're going to give it a shot. This is a new format. I'm experimenting a little bit, exploring some, so hopefully you guys will find it pleasing. Do give me feedback on what you thought of it and how you experienced it all, and whether or not it was jarring or if you enjoyed it. If you'd rather see me stand here and read place cards and just kind of do my goofy thing at the camera, then I can do that. If you want to see more graphical things like that pop up, let me know. I will explore and see what I can do. Again, I'm kind of limited with what I'm working with here. For those of you guys that are new to the channel, I shoot everything on my iPhone, so I'm limited by the editing apps and capturing capabilities that I have there on. I don't have a current laptop at the moment. My MacBook is so ancient that it won't even load the videos, let alone actually edit them. So this is something that I'm going to work with and experiment and play with, and we'll see where it goes. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it. Without any further ado, let's jump on in and cut through to Friendship in the Havamal. Okay guys, we're going to go ahead and start off here with stanza 8 from the Havamal. I'm going to go through these in numerical order in the way they appear in the Havamal, just because it's easier than me trying to put this together in some kind of weird cohesion. But here we have it. This is happy is he who hath won him the love and liking of all. For hard it is one's help to seek from the mind of another man. Now this one is interesting to me because it's one of the ones that's most difficult to translate. I've seen a number of translations from a number of different sources go a number of different ways. Certain translations will say that, uneasy is that which a man doth own, which lies in another's breast. That's in the Bray translation. And then, of course, the Chisholm translation says, he has it hard who must get these things by the help of another. Essentially, it boils down to, from what I can tell, it's good to have friends because you never know what's in somebody else's heart. You never know what else somebody is going to be holding against you, for you, whatever. And so to have them on your side means they're more likely to be of a mind or to be in assistance, to be there with you. This is Gefrain. This is luck building. This is where you have taken the time to build relationships, and this is the benefit of that relationship put out in a clear and concise format. So, like I said, translates a bunch of different ways, but that's kind of the route of this one. It's important to have friends because you never know what somebody else might be thinking or be doing. So, by befriending them, you keep them true and you keep them strong to you. When you have need, they will be there, and it's hard to seek help from someone who is not one's friend. Next up, we have stanza 24. The unwise man wings that all who laugh with him like him too, nor sees their scorn, though they sneer at him. On bench, when midst the sage he sits. This one's fairly straightforward. A man thinks that everybody that laughs with him is his friend, is there for him, is in support of him. He doesn't realize that just because people laugh with you or are laughing at the table doesn't mean they're laughing with you. They may be laughing at you. You may be bringing on their scorn. A wise man is able to discern between these things. In choosing friends, a man seeks friends who laugh with him, not at him. He seeks individuals that will support him, that are friends of him, that will be true to him and not ridicule him or turn him downwards. Now, there's a difference between the jesting, jovial, beratement that friends do to one another. That one's fine, but in this particular instance, we're talking about those that do not speak true, those that are legitimately ridiculing or speaking ill of this person. And so that's a key thing. Advice on keeping your wits about you with regards to who you have around you, whether they're laughing with you or at you. Next up, we have stanza 25, which says, the unwise man weens that all that laugh with him like him too. But then he finds, when to the thing he comes, few spokesmen to speed his cause. This one's about the same kind of thing. Pay attention to who it is that you bring in as friends, because if you think that everyone who pretends to be your friend or who is jovial with you in public or sitting at the table, if you think they're a fine friend but you don't truly know them and you haven't vetted them, gotten to know them and really measured their worth, then when things get real, When you have to go to the thing to represent yourself or to bring your cause forward, i.e., metaphorically, when things get real and you need somebody to stand up with you and to have your back and to be there for you, you're not going to have anyone there. So that's the key thing here. Keep in mind who it is your friend, and be wary. Next up, we have stanza 34, which says, "To false friends a far way 'tis, though his roof be reared by the road. To staunch friend a straight way leads, though far he have fared from thee." This is a simple thing. It doesn't matter how close or how far away it is. No road is too long to travel to a good friend. Your enemy can live down the road, but you're not going to want to go to their house if they are your enemy. But somebody whom you value, somebody who is a friend, driving an hour away doesn't mean anything. You'll do it to see them. So keep this in mind as you go through and you build friendships and you weigh those people around you. Think about, how would I feel if I had to drive 2 hours to go see this guy? If that seems like a hassle, if that seems like whatnot, then that kind of tells you where in there it falls. If it's like, oh yeah, we'll drive it, no problem, then there is something there. Stanza 41. "With weapons and weeds should friends be won, as one can see in themselves. Those who give to each other will be friends, once they meet halfway." Now, one of the things that's interesting here is this is the gift exchange. This is the building of frith, the building of relationship through gift. Mutual obligation through gifting, but similarly an expression of value and appreciation for that individual based on this gift exchange. And so when we talk about, and here it says with weeds and weapons and weeds. Weeds are frequently clothing or adornments, those things that grow up and cling to the tree, such as the shield tree, the sword tree, which is a kenning for a warrior, soldier. So, bit of advice: share gifts between friends. This is something that helps to build that relationship and build frith. It doesn't have to be major gifts, but a little something here and there. The gift of time, the gift of items, the gift of, just thoughtfulness. Build that relationship, but specifically the giving of gifts initiates that gift cycle, and that gift cycle ties weird and helps to build that frith between the two of you. And now we come to stanza 42. "With his friend a man should be friends ever, and pay back gift for gift. Laughter for laughter he learned to give, and eke lesson for lies." Simply put, this is the gift exchange. Continue exchanging gifts, build that frith, build that relationship, stay positive, and exchange jovialness. Be good with one another, be good to one another, and the friendship will grow, the friendship will stay true. If this is a friendship that you value, then do this. Take the time, be strong, and exchange time and gifts. Keep that reciprocation going. Don't let it all become one-sided. Don't break things down with lies and misleadings. So, stanza 43. "With his friend a man should be friends ever, with him and the friend of his friend. But foeman's friend befriend thou never, and keep thee aloof of his kin." It's pretty simple on this one. Maintain those friends that are worthy. Keep your friends and your social circle strong, and maintain those relationships that are valuable to you. The friend of your friend is your friend, but the friend of your enemy is not, and is not to be trusted. And if you stay away, especially from the kin of your enemies, don't pal around with the sister of your worst foe, because the foe will find out things and have influence that they need not have. And essentially, when you come down to mixing weird, what you're doing here is you're mixing weird with people that are friend and strong. When you're talking about friend of friend, you're still keeping that social circle to the positive. But a foeman's friend, you're still mixing weird with someone who tightly mixes weird with that foe, and that poisons the well, even if it's by proxy, and the kin is even closer. So keep these things in mind. Stanza 44. "If friend thou hast, whom faithful thou deemest, and wishest to win him for thee, ope thy heart to him, nor withhold thy gifts, and fare to find him often." Same kind of advice. It gets kind of redundant here, but if there's somebody you see that is a friend that you want to have as a friend, somebody you think would be good for you and good and strong for your circle, then be open with them. Tell them your mind, tell them your thoughts, share your world with them. Be generous with them, give them gifts, give them time, and seek them out. Go to reach out to them. What it says is that if you want to befriend someone, you need to do the legwork first and prove your worth to that person, and then that person will smile upon you and become your friend. Possibly. If they don't, then of course, then they weren't worth the effort in the first place. But don't be afraid to put in a little legwork if you want to end up with a good, strong friend. Now we're going to jump to stanza 47. The ones that followed the previous set of stanzas were more on dealing with enemies. So we're going to jump ahead just a little bit. And 47 says, "Young was I once, and went alone, and wandering lost my way. When a friend I found, I felt me rich. Man is cheered by man." This one is the key here, that humans are social creatures. We need socialization. We need camaraderie. You're going to have like your mate that you choose to spend the rest of your life with. That's going to be a dear friend. But also you need friends, people that are their relationships a little bit different. Ones that are not, tied up in your finances and tied up in your romantic life, but somebody you can go and just kind of vent about those things too. Man is cheered by man. Human beings need other people, and we find joy and happiness in that. So without that, you lose your way. But finding a friend, finding someone that you can trust, and someone that is unearth, someone that is in your circle, that you truly can trust, is a valuable thing. Now we look to stanza 49. "In the fields as I fared, for fun, I hung my weeds on 2 wooden men. They were reckoned folks when the rags they wore. Naked a man is not." Now this is kind of a whimsical little stanza about making a point that beggars are looked over and not seen as people. Those that are without tend to be written off by those that are with. And so it harkens back, while this one doesn't specifically mention friendship per se, it harkens back to the whole gift exchange and back to that whole unearth, looking out for each other kind of thing. Adding to another person's wealth when you can, not taking away from it if possible. So you try to be there for one another, you try to support one another so that they do not end up as ragless wooden men by the side of the road. The 50 reads, "The fir tree dies in the field it stands, shields it not bark nor bask. Thus eke the man who by all is shunned, why should he linger in life?" This goes back to the previous stanza, ties in together, that people, it says man a lot, but in that is frequently referring to mankind in general. People feel worthless when they are without. Again, we come back to the wealth in the Havamal, as I mentioned. Wealth is something, material goods in the world, that is tied to luck, and a man who is without wealth, who is without belongings, is without luck. And so herein you see that there is the need for friendship in looking out for one another and supporting one another again, and making sure that that person does not end up defenseless, because in so doing, alone and without anything, and without the feeling of luck or worth, they lose that fervor for life. Those that wish to live long, happy lives need to surround themselves with people that they love and that they care for. The 51 reads, "Then fire hotter for 5 days burneth, love between friends that are false. It dieth down when dawneth the 6th, then all the sweetness turns sour." That should be fairly self-explanatory. It's easy to fall into false friendships and for them to seem great at first, and it does not take long for everything to kind of run asunder. And so beware the honeymoon period with friendships. Keep in mind that it takes some time to get to know people, and to make sure that the friendship you have built is a slow burn, a long burn, as opposed to a flash in the pan. Oh, this person's great, they're awesome, and then to only turn around and find out that you didn't know everything you needed to know about them, and thusly ended up being someone you could not trust in the end. 52 is one of my favorites. "Not great things needs give to a man, bringeth thanks oft, a little thing. With half a loaf and half-drained cup, I won me oft, worthy friend. It's simple. It doesn't take much to win a true friend. Simple, small things. As my tribe brothers like to remind me, it doesn't take much to show appreciation. Just a little, hey, how you doing? Hey, let's spend some time together. Do some stuff with us and show acknowledgement of that friendship and show worth. Doesn't take much. It's the little things that show. Big grand shows are great for, festivals or for, intertribal relations. But when it comes to a true friend, it doesn't take much. Stanza 62. With lowered head sweeps to the sea when he comes, the eagle o'er the billowing brine. Thus eke a man among a throng who finds but few to befriend him. If you don't have friends within the crowd, you will end up seeking and hunting because you do not have that support. You're like an eagle flying over the billowing brine looking for a fish. You simply wander through a crowd looking for someone that'll have your back. We're going to jump ahead a bit up to the lay of Lord Fafnir. Stanza 119 reads, Hear thou, Lord Fafnir, and heed it well. Learn it 'twill lend thee strength. Follow it 'twill further thee. If faithful friend thou hast found for thee, then fare thou to find him full oft. Overgrown as soon, with tall grass and bush, the trail which is trod by no one. This is one of my absolute favorites, because from this I take a little paraphrasing. Let not the grass grow tall on the road to a good friend. This is something that I use a lot because in our modern day society, it's easy to get tied up with the mundanity of day-to-day life and the frustrations of everything that we do. Work and all kinds of things get in the way. And what you end up with is not going to see people as frequently as you should. And I'm guilty of it, same as everybody else is. People that I care about, people that I love and cherish, people that are just down the road, people that are in the same house sometimes. I let the grass grow too tall, and I don't walk it enough to keep the grass beat down. So, when you feel it, you start to know that people are drifting or that you haven't gone to see them nearly enough, remind yourself the grass is getting tall. It's time to walk it down. Stanza 120. Hear thou, Lord Fafnir, and heed it well. Learn it 'twill lend thee strength. Follow it 'twill further thee. A good man seek thou to gain as thy friend, and learn to make thyself loved. Like we said before in the previous video, the lay of Lord Fafnir is like Odin giving specific advice to Lord Fafnir. And so this is a pointed, hey, find yourself someone you can trust, gain them as a friend, and learn to make yourself lovable by them. Because it's not just a one-way thing. You don't just find people and then make them your friends and then expect them to like you however you are. You have to figure out, how to be amenable. If you want a good friend, then you're going to have to, not be an ass to them. You have to be kind in the appropriate ways. And it's different in each person, in each relationship. I know people that can look at each other and curse each other left and right, call each other all sorts of vile names, but still are absolutely wonderful friends. The truest of the true and the deepest of the deep. And then others that are more, proper and prim about their interactions. It all varies from person to person, from hall to hall. But that's what you got to figure out. Get a feel for it. Take the time to make it worthwhile. 121. Hear thou, Lord Fafnir, and heed it well. Learn it 'twill lend thee strength. Follow it 'twill further thee. The first be not with a friend to break, who was faithful found to thee. For sorrow eateth the soul of him, who may not unburden his mind. This one's pretty deep. This is one of the ones that I like to come back to a lot, because if you have someone who is valuable to you, someone whom you trust and you look to, then hold on to them. Do not let them go, because they are important. And someone that does not have the ability to talk to someone, who doesn't have anyone to go to when things get tough, that's the way of depression. And that is the sorrow eating at the soul. Human beings are social in nature. And so whether they're heathen or not, doesn't matter. You need someone you can talk to, someone who is a friend, someone who you can unburden your heart to, which is why it's good to have a friend outside of a relationship too, especially a like same-sex friend or whatever, somebody that's not tied up in the relationship area of things, simply because it gives you someone that you can talk to about the relationship if you need to. That's an important thing too. You need someone to whom you can turn when things get rough, and it's not good to be the one that breaks that up. Stanza 122. Hear thou, Lord Fafnir, and heed it well. Learn it, 'twill lend thee strength. Follow it, 'twill further thee. Beware thou of bandying words with an unwise oaf. And then stanza 123. For from evil man not ever wilt thou get reward for good. A good man, though, will gain for thee the love and liking of many. Now this one I like to put these two together, simply because they kind of comma into one another. Don't spend time with idiots. Don't spend time with people that are not worthy. Do not spend time with people that do not better you and strengthen you. Surround yourself with the people that do bring you strength and bring you goodness, because when you surround yourself with good people, other good people will come to you as well. If you surround yourself with poison, then only poisoned individuals will seek out your well. Stanza 124. Then love is mingled when a man can say to a bosom friend what burdens him. Few things are worse than fickle mind. No friend he who but speaks thee fair. So this is something that it pulls back to all of this. Stay away from those that don't bring you truth. They don't bring you good, strong friendship. That aren't good for you, not just good to you. But you know it's a true friend when it's someone you can trust with what burdens you, the person that you feel comfortable going to. And stay away from those that are fickle of mind, the ones that one day will listen to you and the next day will not, and cast you aside, for they are not worthy as friends. Finally we come to stanza 125. Hear thou, Lord Fafnir, and heed it well. Learn it, 'twill lend thee strength. Follow it, 'twill further thee. Not 3 words shalt with the worse man bandy. Oft the better man forbears when the worse man wounds thee. This one is simply, again, an admonishment against tying up with people who are not worthy, with people that can't be trusted, to keep your distance from those, and to not spend your time with those individuals, because regardless of how things turn out, more often than not, you will come out worse the wear for this worse man. So all of this ties together in these lessons to show us that friendship is something that needs to be valued, that is built on by the gift exchange, and that is of value to us because humans are social creatures, because we need one each other. We need to build on one another. Like the Rune Manas shows us, hand in hand, humanity is made stronger. Man is made glad by man. Humans need humans. We need our friends. We need our family. This is something that I feel is extremely important because of the tribal nature of heathenry, because of the importance of heathenry as a tradition, as a culture, as a religion, as a folkway, as a culture. It's different than a lot of Western society, which doesn't focus on these things, which doesn't value these things, which doesn't bring to the forefront, hey, we need to spend time focusing on our tribes and our Inengard. And I know, I am one that struggles with this at times too, because the mundane world gets in the way, and I let it. And I let it make excuses, and I let it get frustrating, and then I end up with friendships that get on rocky terms. I end up with family that I get on rocky terms with that I haven't seen in nearly too long, and I let the grass get too tall. And that's not something that I'm okay with. And when I catch it, I try to turn it around, and then the mundane world again tries to pull us apart and breeds, everyone in their own little box, in their own little part of the world, as opposed to getting together as friends and doing that which we value and that which is important. So we're going to cut back over now. We're going to close the lesson with this and hit our little outro here. So I hope this format worked for you guys, and back to the studio. There you go, guys. That is the first run as far as our lessons in the Havamal. We're going to see how this goes over, whether you guys liked it, enjoyed it, and if so, we'll do more like it in the future. I will say that it took a lot of prep work to be able to turn it into what it is now, and a lot of learning. I have figured out some tips and tricks that will help me streamline it in the future, but this one did take quite a bit of prep and grind to get done. So hopefully you guys liked it. Please let me know. Give me feedback down below. Give me feedback on the Facebook group, things like that. I'm going to try and put a poll up and see whether or not people enjoyed this format, things like that. I need your feedback, guys. I need you to tell me what you like, and then I build from there. So hopefully this kind of gave you some insight into how I view the Havamal, some of the knowledge that you can get from it, the importance of friendship and the importance of camaraderie, the importance of a social structure around you as you go through, and why we need that in our lives, at least in as much as the wisdom of the Havamal can give us. There's some great tips and tricks in there about building and maintaining friendships. One of the ones that I find myself being worst at is letting the grass grow too tall. I've already talked about all that back in the place card bit, so I'm not going to rehash all of that, but you guys get it. So thank you guys. I appreciate you sitting and watching the video. Like I said, give me the feedback, and we'll be back with more stuff here coming up. Hopefully you guys enjoy the videos. So thank you. Hail. May your ancestors smile on you. All right. Introduction to friendship in the Havamal in 3, 2, 1. Let's jam. And we're going to do the ending now. This one actually doesn't have as many bloopers because of the fact that I shot it in the way that I did. There's only a couple of like live splashes, and then the vast majority that's the voiceover stuff in the middle. So that's not going to be as much fun. So ending in 3, 2, 1.